Hi, and welcome to FinTech First. I'm once again your host, Anthony Perosi. As a reminder, this series will be hosted every week and will focus on trending topics and opinions in the diverse world of FinTech. It is meant to be supplemented by your feedback and comments and brief you on topics relevant to both your personal and financial success in just a matter of minutes. The title of today's episode is Running Your Business at Hyperspeed. According to Gartner, hyperautomation is a business-driven, disciplined approach that organizations use to rapidly identify, vet, and automate as many business and IT processes as possible. It involves the use of multiple technologies, all of which ironically are well-known acronyms, which include but are not limited to artificial intelligence, business process management, and robotics process automation. Do any of these sound familiar to you? If not, I've created a different vignette for each to get you started. First, let's begin with artificial intelligence. What comes to mind when you hear the acronym AI? If this is the first image that comes to your mind, we've got some work to do. While Spielberg's take may have been heartwarming, AI is not just a science fiction phenomenon about a robot aspiring to be human. The term itself was coined by computing pioneer Alan Turing back in 1950. Let's double click into AI and its equally interesting offspring, machine learning, shall we? If you take a look at Google's education offerings, the parent and child relationship between the two is consistent. If you do a search, you're bound to find endless number of case studies by not-for-profit, for-profit, and government organizations alike. AI affects every kind of organization, and as a result, every facet of our lives. Interested in taking a course on machine learning? No problem. Google has got you covered. Just check out this site, ai.google/education. And you will notice there is a plethora of materials, which include guides, podcasts, interactive content, and many other materials on the site, as you can see here. And the best part, virtually all of this content is downloadable for free. This is a big way that Google is giving back to the FinTech community. While AI and machine learning are the most prominent forms of hyperautomation, it is worth noting the other two. Before I was inducted into the world of BPM, the only reference I ever associated with this acronym was beats per minute, not business process management. And clearly, this is not a FinTech relevant experience. Summarizing Gartner once again, at its core, BPM is a discipline that uses models to analyze and optimize business processes with the ultimate outcome of aligning technology investments with its overall business strategy. More specifically, its focus is on improving and correcting processes before automating them. In other words, identifying and remediating the garbage instead of allowing the garbage to process even faster. This is precisely why I am a strong advocate of implementing BPM before RPA of any kind is even considered. According to the Association for Intelligent Information Management, BPM should not be a one-time exercise, hence why you see the circular model design. Instead, it should lead to a continuous cycle of always evaluating ways the organization can improve. Looking at this cycle, which step is most important to you and why? For me, modeling is the most important because it's where the proverbial cheese is at. This is where the target or future state processes are defined based on the previous design step in this cycle. Last, but certainly not least, is RPA, or robotics process automation. Many consultants have made their mark in the space, showcasing how fast their homemade product can accelerate your journal template upload process, for example. But what they typically don't understand or care to review is if those tasks actually contribute toward business processes that add value to the overall bottom line. If this terminology sounds familiar, it's because I just referenced it during the previous segment on BPM. CIO Magazine published an article a few years ago that provides a great overview of the most common RPA mechanisms. The first one mentioned in the article is the bot, also referred to as chatbot in many industries, which is the lowest cost and easiest to implement. Next in line are the cognitive technologies, which include machine learning, speech recognition, and natural language processing, all of which are connected to the bot itself. These are all designed to simulate human-like communication and behavior to provide intelligent, automated responses to complex questions. At the very top of the food chain is RPA's oldest and wisest sibling, Intelligent Automation, or IA. IA is equal parts RPA and AI, and is probably the most interesting and at the same time, the most mysterious automation in this space. Inventiva magazine summarizes IA as the idea of an assembly line to break up digital business processes into steps that are done repeatedly. A recent and relevant example that is familiar to all of us is the automation of getting COVID-19 vaccines to the people who need them the most. More specifically, this has been done by transmitting data from hospital systems and electronic health records that can be used to find, educate, and set up patients with vaccination appointments. While there is a lot going on in this space, the actual results to most companies' bottom line are a mixed bag. And I suspect there is more work to be done for these technologies to be considered mature and produce tangible results. Please stay tuned for next week's episode as I focus on business process outsourcing. Have a good week.